We are back again going into Q4 with a brand new Got Your Back video, this time featuring our friends at Tekweld, um, who've been a part of Promo EQP for a long time, and we love working with these guys. Today we have Claire and Ray. Welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Cool,
Hello.
Hector. Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Well,
having us.
well, we'll jump right in here. And so, I know we've all probably heard this discussed at length, but I want to get your take on things. So, we made it through 2020, 2021, and now we're almost done with 2022. And it feels kind of like we're getting to normal again, like the business has kind of come through the other side of the craziness of the last couple of years. How did Tekweld navigate the evolving market of shutdowns, business closures, mergers, acquisitions, staffing, supply chain issues, and basically all of the above that affected business?
It's funny because we were all in Vegas. I think it was 2020, and all of a sudden, bam! It hit, and nobody knew what they were getting into. This was unprecedented. And, all I know is that we had 300 people working at TechWeld, and the next day, when everything shut down, we were down to 30. I mean, it was that quick.
Wow.
And in addition to going down that low, we probably got rid of 7 months of inventory of hand sanitizer inventory in 7 days. Hence, my hair gone. So, so the key is here is yeah, it was definitely a little crazy. All I know is I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We had to we had to react as like anybody did. You get a curve thrown at you and you have to be able to think. You can't go crazy. Yes, there is some reaction, but you also have to think it through. You can't just go absolutely nuts. We just didn't know which way things were going to go. So yeah, our vendors started shutting down, and trying to get product out of China was obviously a lot more difficult. And it just taught us a lesson a little bit, which is, we're looking to, we'll probably have increased our capacities for doing USA made products much more than we would have had prior to COVID. So it kind of woke everybody up. But at one time we were paying, I don't know, $7,000 for a container, and it went up to $30,000 container. And then you couldn't get containers. I mean, it was, I just never, I got in 1981, so I've been doing this for a while, and I've never seen anything like that. I've been through the boom, the bust, the whole, debacle on pharmaceuticals, and it's just been crazy.
Has any of this changed how you guys are operating today? Have you adopted any changes from stuff that you had to kind of jump through over the last 2 years that you've decided are actually better ways of doing things, or maybe more streamlined, or something that just makes sense to continue?
A lot of things have changed, like Ray said, that we really have added to our USA made line. So during the pandemic, we started manufacturing face masks. So I believe we were the only supplier in the industry that had a 50-piece minimum of a full color dye sublimated mask and union printed. So from there, we've pivoted into USA made full dye sublimated tote bags and zippered pouches. So it's given us opportunities in other venues to go, or other products to add to our line.
Okay, kind of became a launching point for further products, huh?
Yeah, you kind of feel you stretch your capabilities. You got to react to the market again. You try to think through, but you have to react to the market, what people were looking for. And anybody that had a mask was selling a ton of PPE products. Um, Now, what we're doing differently today from an inventory standpoint is where we used to be able to have 3 months of inventory or 4 months of inventory sitting on the floor. Now we have to have 6 to 7 months of inventory. So it's a lot more capital investment, just because right now, the supply chain, although it's getting better, still one shutdown, one COVID, or somebody gets sick in a plant, they shut down the whole plant. And so, getting merchandise out of China is not easy.
as of all of these that we've been talking to, and we've been doing these Got Your Backs videos now for over a year, and it's amazing the parallels I see with every supplier we've spoken to who have had virtually the same challenges across the board. And some have been more successful than others, you know. And I think you guys have done a pretty good job. So definitely congratulations to you for making it through the other side and coming out fighting, you know, coming out strong.
We're expanding quite a bit our footprint in New York as far as doubling the size of our warehousing capacity. So and that's because of COVID. We had to because now we have to carry a lot more pallets, a lot more merchandise.
Is there are there products given everything over the last years that like we know you've kind of jumped into face masks and then use that as a launching point for dye sublimated bags and that kind of thing. Have there been products that you dropped and then just said, well, okay, this forced us to kind of streamline?
I mean, we've dropped a few things, but we haven't dropped that many things. Um, but where it's really pushed us is into the USA made product. So between we now offer heat bin desk signage or countertop signage and lots of acrylic and plastic coasters. Ray is on the inside. He sees a lot more from what I see. Um, Expand, Ray.
The only reason that we would get rid of a product is if it doesn't meet a threshold of X amount of dollars over a period of 2, 3 years. It's just not moving. We give it that long because we know it takes a while to get down into the distribution. So if I had to give you a global answer on did we cut back on anything, the only thing we kept back on that we're not doing, but we're still offering it are masks. That's it. We've always been in the hand sanitizer business. We're one of the top suppliers in the industry in hand sanitizers. So we've expanded that line actually because we feel it'll continue to, people will be wanting to put their logo on hand sanitizers. It's just a great item to be able to get your brand out there. But now, if anything, we've added a lot more products, and as Claire mentioned, you know, we've really sat down and analyzed our USA made products that we do here that we cut here and with our acrylics and our plastics and stuff like that and expanded that line.
So you find that the USA made stuff is really there's been definitely a focus on that because of distributors requesting it or their buyers wanting it or just because ease of not of being able to just ship and get product out or maybe a bit of both.
Well, it's funny because at one point in time, people they weren't asking, hey, I need this and I need it this day or anything. They were asking more like, what do you got? It's like it wasn't that it was like I need to spend X. What do you have that I could spend X on? And so we figured out that we started pushing our coasters and our acrylic line and our keychains and things like that, and people just started gravitating to it, and it kind of woke up the industry who's been dealing with us for a while because people think of us as this is a major importer. It kind of woke up our distributors to say, "Wow, Tekweld does a lot of USA made stuff." When you got a lot in the line, it's not easy to communicate that when you're so diverse. So
Right, right. Well, and getting that across to the distributors who are out there so they're aware, and that they know how to field those questions with their buyers and how to, have you thought about this? Have you thought about a USA made product? Have you thought about X? That's kind of key. Do you guys see yourselves as part of helping the distributors craft that messaging to their buyers or helping them kind of think of those questions to ask?
you're out there pitching it every day, Claire. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of education to our distributors so that they can then in return educate the end buyer when you're talking about your products and your case histories and time frames and inventory. The USA made products have really hit a hot spot for us, along with our packaging too. So we do a lot of custom packaging, not just boxes but fulfillment too as well.
And that kind of leads to the next part, the communication and the education. One of the lessons that we've kind of learned, especially over the last couple of years, is that customer service is really it's the key to everything. And we've seen some of the insane things that our distributors have done to take care of their buyers when they had no other options. And I think this has really pulled the curtain back on suppliers as well, who are not all created equal. And that's kind of one of the things we've said from the beginning. And I know you guys have definitely made customer service in the face of staff shortages and supply chain issues a focus. What's your philosophy on this, and how do you guys apply that?
We stress to our CSRs that um, you know, we want you to build a relationship with that distributor. When they call in, they want to. I want you to know. I want them to know who you are, and you need to know who they are. They want to be able to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Matt," you know. And we've worked hard, um, over the years to build that. It's not been easy. We're in the process of even putting together, bringing back a key account management team, which we had at one time, but we had to phase out during the pandemic, and so hopefully that'll help us as well. We have probably one of the best portals in the industry, and we sell that as a personal concierge. I say, how would you not like to be on the phone holding on or waiting for an email to come? I says, I could give you your own personal concierge with our portal. Our portal's amazing. There's so many different things you could do on the portal, from paying your bills to finding out where your order is to order status, all different types of things that normally you would go to customer service. The portal could, probably 95% of the questions you have can be done through the portal. So that's helped us tremendously because
Is that like an automated process, or is it more something that's just more like a direct line, or
it's a live portal that distributor signs into, and they automatically see every order they have in our system. It tells you exactly where the order is in the system. It tells you, you could approve your art on there. You could do so many different things. You could change and request for a better day. Look, it's technology based. We're investing in that to help our distributors get answered quicker, so they don't have to worry about. They could, at 11 o'clock at night, they could check their order status. They don't have to wait till Tekweld opens up in the morning or go, during the day.
that's fantastic. I'm glad, that you see you guys kind of putting some emphasis on trying to automate some of that stuff out and just make it a little more streamlined and smooth. Um, with an emphasis on customer service, what are some of the things that you guys have done to gone to the mat for a distributor? You have any examples of stuff where you've kind of like blown it over the top to make something right, or we all have failures. How have you handled some of them, and how does that shape your outlook in general?
Claire, you want to handle? I'm sure you've had a few that you might want to say. This is how we get out of this one.
Well, I mean, we have a QC team, um, who has become a pretty well-oiled machine. If there's an issue that arises, I always tell everybody it's not what we did wrong; it's how we fix it. That's what they're going to remember. So,
Absolutely.
the quicker that we can get it fixed and addressed and issued, and get the issue taken care of, the better it is for all of us.
Absolutely.
And the thing about it is, we answer within an hour. That's our goal on a situation, and then within 48 hours, we've got it either reprinted, credited, whatever it is, to get it done right. But I'm going to give you my own personal experience on something that going above and beyond. And you probably remember this one, Claire. It was the middle of winter, started snowing up here in New York. We were supposed to deliver, I think it was like 400 bottles of water to Florida out of our Georgia plant. Now, I was flying down to Florida to Naples. That's where I have a home. So I was going down there and I get a call, and I find out that our bottling plant is going to miss the date for an attorney's firm, one of a bigger attorney firm in Miami. And the distributor calls me up, which I've known for 30 years. Ray, I can't believe this. What are you doing to me? Blah, 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 blah. He was a little bit more graphic than that, but I can't really. This
We
is a
can beep
children's
this.
program. But I said, you know what? I'm going out. I was going to leave JFK tomorrow morning, and I was flying down to Naples. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my pickup. I'm going to print the bottles here in New York, and I will be in Florida on Sunday to deliver the bottles to you. And that's one thing that I've always said, if you could go above and beyond, and and I've known this gentleman for many years. He goes, Ray, I've never had anybody do that. I said, you know what? I don't like leaving people out, to dry. So, he yeah, so that's what you had to do. And we've done a lot of stuff like that, gotten in a car, deliver stuff to New York, New Jersey, do whatever it takes to make it happen. That was a little extreme, but I was singing 99 bottles of water in the truck, 99 bottles of water, just something to keep me going for 20 hours down to Miami.
Well, I love hearing those kind of stories from suppliers because we hear that kind of stuff with distributors, right? Because at heart, like every distributor, like all of us, is a hustler, right?
Yeah,
Say yes to what your client needs and then figure it out, right? It, that's the basis of everything we do, right? It's say yes and then figure it out
they'll
and make
figure
sure
it
that
out.
customers taken care of. So I love that.
I tell this to our guys all the time, customer service regionals, even our management team. I says, look, we do 98% of the stuff right. Nobody, you very rarely get a call and say, hey, man, that's great. Yeah, we do get them. But, we tend to dwell in that 2%
Right,
that goes south, and we tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves and saying,
right.
"Oh man, this." And I said, "No, let's keep it in perspective. Let's get that 2%, and let's fix it. Let's fix it, and let's make it right for our customers." And that's our attitude. I mean, it's we take it very, very seriously when an order goes south. I mean, we document everything. We want to find out why it went south. We try not to get it, but it happens. It's a customized business. It's going to happen.
Absolutely. And and I think like distributors can handle bad news. They can as long as you're communicating, they can take bad news. What they can't take is feeling like they're getting the runaround or that they're having to reach out to the supplier to keep pulling information and because the supplier is not being forthcoming. It's about 1,400 distributors. We hear all of it, right? We hear from the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And by and large the distributor or the suppliers who did really well over the last 2 years from our group's perspective were the ones that communicated. So they're not standing around with their buyers looking like they don't know anything, right?
I agree. Yeah, and it's easy. It's easy to get away from that um, if you're not conscious of that. So yeah,
Well, and still having that like almost a small business kind of independent mindset, and that kind of leads me to a next question here, which is that you guys have been around a long time,
yeah.
and you're still what I would call stridently independent, you know. Um, how have you navigated this field of consolidation that's been moving through our industry over the last decade, without becoming a part of a larger monolith?
The one thing about Tekweld that I've enjoyed really being there is that the upper management team, I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs. I used to own my own company. Randy, one of the other VPs, owned his own company with Brian. Taylor and his brother are involved a lot. I had Scott, who was our CEO, was with another company that was also. So there's a lot of it's an entrepreneurial spirit, and with that, you know, the way that we've grown. Well, first of all, it's all been organic. We when I first started, they were doing about 20 million, and we'll probably wind up doing 50 million this year in sales. We feel that our next level of sales is we want to get to 100 million, and we have to do it the Tekweld way, and that's with expanding product lines, providing better service, just getting in the field, making the relationships. Claire, how long have you been in the Southwest, Claire?
Because you're coming up on
7.
7. So 7.
And then we've got a pretty solid team in the field, and where relationships are important. They want to know if there's a distributor in the Southwest and need help. They want to know that they're not account number 4577. So we still invest in having that personal touch in those territories, which goes a long way.
Like you guys seem to have a personality. Techweld has an identity, a personality, right? There are other suppliers who may be a little more amorphous and just kind of nebulous large creatures out there, but you guys have an identity and a personality, and I think that comes across.
That I think I think that has to do with, one of the things I tell my guys. It says, look, I don't need you to worry about the Tekweld brand. It says worry about your brand. If you worry about your brand, Tekweld will be taken care of. You do what you say you're going to do. You say with the distributors, and they know Claire. If I call Claire, I'm going to be taken care of. And I said, if that happens, Teckweld's doing good, and that's where the personality falls in. Every one of our regional managers has a different personality, but they are an extension of our brand. And if their brand's solid, then our brand's solid.
Well, it's interesting you talk about the entrepreneurial aspect too, because I think there's something to that, when you're talking about being almost a company of entrepreneurs.
And I understand what you're saying because I've been around for a while. So you've got a lot of outside money, the industry coming in, buying these
Right.
suppliers and stuff like that. And it's just sometimes it's what's the top line and then the bottom line. But
Yeah.
Tekwell's a little bit different. We're a little bit wackier than that. The only reason I'm successful is because people like Claire and the rest of my team, they do that.
And back to you. Ray's brought a lot of greatness to Tekweld over the years. Um, he's very much that extension of us out in the field to our team on the inside.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, so we're getting, to kind of a little bit of the meat of this. The last few years have seen a lot of suppliers start looking, you know, at every single penny spent with fresh eyes. And at Promo EQP, we've been hearing more and more about suppliers taking a second look at things which had previously been seen as, well, this is just the cost of doing business, such as rebate programs, and now openly questioning whether money spent on these types of assumed costs would be better spent reinvesting back in the company, right? What is Techweld's position on this been? Are you looking at some of these pay-to-play type of arrangements with fresh eyes, or do you see this as a necessary evil which we won't ever get away from? What are your thoughts?
Well, when it comes to you know the word partnership is used very loosely in this industry. Partnership means that there's a two-way road, right? So the way I look at, I don't have a problem if a distributor performs and they grow and they want additional benefits and stuff like that. Yeah, at are we looking at ROIs and trying to understand where we invest our time and who we invest our time with and how do we get a return on that investment? Yeah, when you say play to pay, whenever I hear that comment, I think of it as a one-way street. Um, and when I hear if there's something out there where I have to get involved, where I have to pay to play, it doesn't interest me as much because it's not really a partnership when it comes to that. It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different feel.
And I always thought to myself, if the supplier wasn't spending all this money on this revenue, what could they do? Hire more people, build out more inventory, get more lines? They could do all kinds of stuff to make, you know, lower shipping times, whatever they need to sell more, as opposed to lining somebody else's pockets. So I was, when I come back, I'm always interested to get a supplier's take on that. But I've started to hear in the last year or two way more suppliers, and that's kind of why I put this question in here because I want, I've heard in the last year or two, I've heard way more suppliers starting to openly talk about, well, maybe we need to look at how some of that money, maybe there's better usage for some of these things in the past. And that doesn't mean like on an individual distributor level, because I'm a big believer if a supplier wants to uh, incentivize an individual distributor, that's between the supplier and the distributor. Have at it, man.
One of the questions that I'm curious is how is field representation? How do you find the distributors out there from the standpoint of and how they receive Techwell? Like you're out there every day. You've got a pulse on sales. I mean, what do you see out there?
Sometimes when we're calling to go see distributors, and it's distributors that have been doing business with us forever, and they're like, "Oh, we know Tech well." No, no, you don't. So, I mean, we're here to help and educate and build that bridge and the gap to help them understand we're not just lip balm and hand sanitizer anymore. So many people go, "Oh, yeah, lip balm. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's still one of our top sellers, but we have so much more to offer than that. We have some of our older ones that are coming out more, that did not come out previously, that want to come out and see or join a meeting, to see what's going on, what's new, how are we navigating. So for the most part, they've been very engaging, and so have their end users.
One thing positive about COVID is that a lot more people, it looks like probably 50% of the workforce and maybe a little bit more of the workforce don't have to go into work anymore, you know? So the packaging and fulfillment end of the business is just blown up in this industry. When we first came out with boxes, we were probably the only one that was doing boxes 7 years ago. But there's not many packaging and fulfillment houses, and that's basically what we do. We build it, we pack it, we ship it. You know, that's where we're very cost effective and very efficient. You know, you get a lot of, hey, how am I going to do this? You know, you said like, how am I going to get this done? It's a little bit different than us. Is that yeah, we take on that challenge and we somehow get it done, and not with just a single product, but with multiple components, and not even ours because we take products in from other suppliers and do all kinds of crazy stuff, you know, that other suppliers won't even touch. And it's hard to get a factory to think that that's fun because the factory is very automated. Now it's like in the back, they're all like, "Oh, this is cool. Look at this," and you know, so you know, it's a mindset that you had to change in production because production fought it for a long time.
Wow. And so would you say it was like the last 2 years of kitting and everything exploding is what kind of changed that mindset? Just doing so much of it?
Yeah, you had to evolve. If you didn't, you know, you'd be dead in the water. You know, and we're one of the few that actually does take in stuff from other suppliers and does all kinds of packaging and drop shipping and stuff like that. So that's helped us quite a bit.
Something else. I honestly didn't know that you guys are doing a lot more of the kitting and fulfillment myself. So that's kind of we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, we have some distributors says, Ray, I do all that stuff in my warehouse, and I said, all right, so use this as an overflow. Once they use this, they'll go, I don't need to do this anymore.
Well, and that's kind of the essence of this industry, right? Which is like, just find somebody who's going to do it better than I did. I can sell the thing, let them do it. You know,
Yeah, which we've just broken into another division called Tech Source, which now we are doing everything from a varsity jacket to a whatever.
now that's so the source is are they able to access like ordering for that through the portal or anything for like any of the kitting or stuff, or does that have to just by the nature of it has got to be more hands on?
Well, it's going to be kind of a hybrid. It's going to be, of course, more of a hands-on, but once the order's placed and everything goes into the system, then it's accessible by the portal, um, which is located on the website on the upper left side. And then you can also go to the tech sourcing tab, and if you're looking for something and you don't want to wait, you can fill out the form on our website, and it goes directly over, and somebody will address it.
Well, I guess that kind of leads me to basically the last question, which is what's next for Tekweld? I mean, we've talked about tech sourcing. You guys have the portal, getting into kitting and all of that. What's next on the plate?
You know, we've got a got a really neat product coming out that we're launching that no one really else has in the industry. It's dimensional printing on acrylics, and it's a mind blower. If you're going to Vegas, we're going to launch it in Vegas,
Okay.
and I think that's going to really set us apart in a lot of different areas. It just when you see this, it just kind of like messes with your head a little bit, you
Is
know.
it almost like a 3D printing type of effect,
It's
or is
3D, but it's deeper than 3D.
really?
Fortunately, I can't tell you the logistics of it because I'd have to kill you.
That's fair enough.
But it's very top secret. No, but
Oh, see, now I'm totally curious. Now I can't wait to see it.
the other thing is that we've acquired another 125,000 square feet of building space across the street from where we are now. You know, we're putting all manufacturing, which right now we had manufacturing in three different facilities in New York. We're putting it all under one roof and then one major warehouse, and so that's what's next. That's what's going to take us to the next level. Um, but no, just continue to come out with new products, innovative products, different, solutions, and just work closely with the distributor and kind of morph. Even though we're big, we're very agile as far as moving around. Where some distributors or some suppliers are so big, they no, this is it. This is how you do it. We're not like that.
Whether you're too big to react quickly or so small that you can, doesn't really have a lot to do with business size. It's more mindset. Because we've seen some pretty large companies that can turn on a dime if they're committed to it, if they're, or whatever the direction is, or being able to make quick decisions. We've seen some medium and small size companies have, analysis paralysis, and they can't do it. So it's definitely mindset more than anything else.
That is so true.
What's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
No, I mean, via email, you know, um, is really the best way to get a hold of Tekweld. As far as Claire and me, it's Ray at Tekweld or Claire at Tekweld. That we keep simple. All the emails we try to keep that simple as possible. But that's it. We're based out of New York. We like to do things fast to help you get your business going.
Well, on behalf of Pro EQP and everybody else, I want to thank you guys very much for coming on board, for doing this. We love having these kind of conversations with suppliers and helping our distributors learn a little more about you. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.